Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our Inclusive Learning Circle. Today, we are going to be discussing how to integrate and implement assistive technology. So in the chat is the link to the tiny URL, which will take you to the home base, and that has links to all of our slides. There is also the QR code there that will take you to the home base so you can access. So we'll give you a second to access those materials. All right, let's get started. So welcome everyone. My name is Leah Padilla. I'm one of the coordinators with the Open Access Project. And today we have Lori Balsano-Wright, who is the other coordinator with the Open Access Project, and Emily Desjardins, our UDL content lead. So we will be sharing about assistive technology today. And we just wanted to highlight our accessibility promise. So today you will notice during the presentation that we have simple backgrounds with high contrast text. We also have the QR code and the tiny URL available so you can access the slides and the resources. And other things that we do to make our presentations accessible, we have alternative text. And today we encourage you to participate through reactions, through the chat, and we're going to do some other activities. You can put any questions in the chat also if you have them today. And so I think everyone has access to this in the chat, but the home base link is there. And then we have also linked our open access website. So if you haven't been there, we encourage you to please check that out. And we'll be diving into a few resources from our website today. And so we value your participation today. Throughout our webinar, please use your reactions. We're going to do a whiteboard activity here in a minute. And you can also access the question and answers today. And we will be answering those questions. And also, if we don't get to it during our time today, we'll be adding that to the home base and sharing that out after with the recording.
So we just want to take a brief moment and share with you about Open Access if you are new to us here. Open Access is one of the statewide special education resource leads within the statewide system of support. We are grounded in the foundational belief that with access to quality instruction, all students can engage, actively participate, and learn in inclusive settings. And what makes our project unique is that we highlight the importance of learning and participation for all through universal design for learning, assistive technology, and augmentative alternative communication. Please bookmark our website to easily access our free universal resources for educators and administrators designed to support the implementation of UDL, AT, and AAC. We have linked there on this slide our one-page flyer detailing our three-tiered approach to assisting LEAs and SELPAs statewide. And just real briefly, our universal supports include resources available on our website, as well as a wide range of offerings and updates that we share across social media. Our targeted supports include training, coaching, and mentoring for schools and districts who reach out to us on a voluntary basis. And when schools and districts are looking to build their capacity and become an expert in the areas of UDL, AT, or AAC, our team is ready to support. Our intensive supports include providing technical assistance to districts throughout the state who have been identified at the intensive level through the Compliance and Improvement Monitoring, or SIM process. And as we provide support to these districts, we're really aligning and leveraging the work within the statewide system of support. And our ultimate goal is to establish showcase sites throughout the state that highlight inclusive practices in action. And so we're currently collaborating with 4 districts to create UDL showcase sites, and with 1 district to develop an accessibility showcase site highlighting AAC implementation.
All right, so we want to welcome you all today, and we appreciate your time. So as we dive into this topic of assistive technology, we are going to do an inclusive welcome. And we didn't make up this term. It's one of the signature practices from CASEL, and that is the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. And if you want to learn more about inclusive welcomes, you can access this more information on the home base. So for our inclusive welcome, we are going to have a whiteboard, and we want you to share a recent tech tool or a tip that you have discovered and why you're excited about it. So on the whiteboard, you can either use a sticky note or you can use the text and input your recent tech tool that you are excited about. So we'll give you a second to access that whiteboard and share your tech tip. And if the whiteboard isn't working for you, you can always put it in chat also, and we can move over your response. Feel free to put it in the chat also.
Yeah, we have some questions about, can you let them know how to access the whiteboard again? And I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the responses coming in the chat. We've got Diffit. We're going to touch on Diffit today. Emily just got excited. Ludia. Yes, we're going to touch on Ludia today.
I'm wondering if maybe for some reason, since it's a webinar, they aren't able to access the whiteboard.
No. Well, they're
Sorry
hitting
about
the
that, guys.
chat. So we're going to
Yeah, let's just do the chat and we will do a quick pivot to the chat.
Yes, a recent tech tool or tip I discovered is using AI to support story narrative analysis. And she's excited because it cuts off so much time. So it's a time saver. Windows is updating speech to text with voice access. Love all the tips and tricks that are coming in. Notebook LM audio feature lets you turn any text into a podcast. Super exciting way to make dull text more interesting to listen to, particularly when walking the dog. I can see it as being a great tool for students to access complex texts.
That's so exciting. I love that.
Love it. Well, we'll continue to let those come in.
All right, thank you all. Feel free to continue sharing those tools and tips in the chat.
And thank you for working with the, the workaround. So today we're going to navigate key areas of accessibility and innovation and education. We're going to dive into Google accessibility updates, exploring the latest tools to enhance accessibility for all learners. And then we will discuss ways to leverage AI in education by examining how AI supports personalized and inclusive learning. And then we're going to wrap it up by discussing practical ways to integrate and implement AT for student success. So each step is bringing us all closer to a more inclusive classroom. So let's dive in. So there are many amazing tools that Google offers. Listed here on this slide, there are just a few, right? I see Google Drive, we've got forms, apps, extensions, add-ons, and more. We won't have time to explore all of them today. We're just going to barely scratch the surface. But we wanted to kind of give you some time to familiarize yourself and build your skill with a tool that is meaningful to you and your teaching practice and ultimately benefiting your students. So let's start with the amazing accessibility features on Chromebooks. So Chromebooks have long offered accessibility tools, though many educators and students aren't quite aware of them. So we're going to highlight some of the ones that have been there for a long time, and then we're going to talk about new updates for Chromebooks since August of 2024. So the ones that have been there for a while are the screen magnifier. That's a tool that really enlarges the context on the screen. It makes it easier for our users with low vision to read text and view images. There is the screen reader, the Chrome Vox screen reader. That's that built-in screen reader for Chromebooks that reads aloud text and provides auditory navigation for users who have vision impairments. Reading mode. This is that feature that really simplifies web pages by removing ads and distractions, making it easier to focus on content. There's the on-screen keyboard. That's a virtual keyboard that appears on the screen, allowing users to type using a mouse, a touch screen, or an alternate kind of input device. There's text-to-speech, a feature that converts that written text into spoken words. Captions being displayed on the screen, transcribing that spoken dialogue. And then switch access. There is an accessibility feature that allows users with mobility impairments to navigate and control a device using external switches instead of a touchscreen or keyboard. Now, some of the new updates for Chromebooks since August are listed here. We've got word level highlighting. So this is text-to-speech now highlights words when used with the magnifier, supporting students with visual impairments. We've got customizable key shortcuts, customizable keyboard shortcuts. Those personalization options are for students with orthopedic impairments to really reduce keystrokes. This one is called Help Me Read. It is available on Chromebook Plus only, but it uses Google's AI Gemini to summarize quite lengthy, complex texts and PDFs. Live Translate, again, available on Chromebook Plus, instantly translates content, though not yet available on your standard student devices. Hopefully that's coming soon. Welcome Recap. It's a visual overview of recent activities and suggestions for where to start. Focus features, timer, do not disturb mode, audio focus tools, really are integrated into Google Tasks. So think of that executive functioning piece there. And then split screen and window snapping. This simplifies multitasking by grouping and resizing windows. So there are some of the most recent updates from Google, specifically on Chromebooks. So because we're going to show you a lot of Chrome apps and extensions throughout our session today, we wanted to make sure that you are all familiar with how to get to the Chrome Web Store and how to manage apps and extensions. And so I need to help myself clarify between the difference between an extension and an app. So, or excuse me, an add-on. So extensions are mini programs that modify and enhance the functionality of your browser, so your Google Chrome browser. Add-ons are going to be specific within the workspace around docs, slides, spreadsheets, Google Forms. So there's a little difference there. We're going to be trying out a lot of these. We do recommend that you have a Google Chrome browser open instead of using a different browser such as Microsoft Edge or Safari. And so, Emily, if you don't mind clicking on that image, we're just going to kind of walk you through. This is where you would go to access extensions found in the Chrome Web Store. And you can search. This one's focusing all around accessibility. And then you just simply add it right onto your computer there. All right, now we're going to go into add-ons. So like I said, those are specific that run inside Google Sheets, Docs, Slides, and Forms. Now they offer powerful built-in tools, and add-ons really take accessibility and efficiency to the next level. So what they can do, this is just probably not all the things that they can do, but they can extend functionality, helping with tasks like captions, sorting, and formatting. Tools like Caption Maker support accessibility by generating text captions. Sorted paragraphs really helps to organize information quickly and efficiently. And by integrating the right add-ons, we can really enhance learning experiences and support diverse needs. So we're just going to walk you through a quick demo here of how to get add-ons and manage them once you've added them in. So Emily's going to walk us through, this is how you would find it using a Google, adding it to a Google Doc. So again, you can search your add-on there, and then Emily can add it there, install.
Oh boy, a lot of permissions.
A lot of clicks there. And then once you have it, Emily, go back to, and then you manage things from there if you wanted to delete it or find out more about it. So those are the extensions that she's added. Or excuse me, add-ons that she's added. So. All right, Emily, I'm going to let you take it away with Google Read and Write, a specific.
I'm so excited. So Google Read and Write is certainly not a new tool. I know it's been around for quite a while, but it really is a great one-stop shop when it comes to accessibility tools. So Google Read and Write is an extension, but it's also kind of a special extension because it works both in web browsers and also in your Google Docs and your Google Drive. So I'm going to do a little demo in a minute, but I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the difference between the free version and the paid version. So it is something that requires a subscription for students. However, all educators do receive a version of it. It's very simple to add. I'll show you a little bit later, but all you have to say is you're in education and you get the free premium. And what I have found too is there are a lot of tools that teachers can use within their premium subscription that really can support student accessibility. And I'll show you kind of how that works. The free version for students includes that text-to-speech, translator, highlighting tools, and basic word prediction. So this is really great for browsing the web. I'll kind of do a demo of what it looks like for students when they access the web utilizing these features. But in the paid version, you can also receive that speech to text. It's a little bit more a sophisticated word prediction, I would say. There's more an advanced spell checker, and then there's also screen masking and some audio making. So I'm going to do a couple little demos here, but I'm going to start with what you can do inside of your actual, got it, we added something new, inside your actual Google Doc. Okay, so this is an article, but I'm just kind of wanting to show you guys exactly how it would work in a Google Doc. So it will read.
In today's educational landscape, there's a growing emphasis on learner agency.
I want to highlight that voice, it's awesome. And I will say when you first download it, that is not the voice that it provides you. But if you go up here at the very top, these cutie little 3 lines, and go to settings, you can go to speech and change the voice. There's a ton of different voice options. And you'll notice any of them with the star are AI powered voices. And so their speech is incredible. I mean, had a very nice flow to it. So another option that I think is a really fabulous tool, and this is one that, yes, it's free for educators. It is part of the paid version for students, but teachers could utilize this to create all kinds of things. So I went ahead and highlighted a few different words in yellow. And you can do this, highlight a variety of colors. But if you click right here, you can pick which colors you'd like to collect. I'm just going to focus on my yellow today. And it's going to create a vocabulary worksheet for me that has, it takes a minute, it's coming. But it's going to have a vocabulary word sheet. It always does this. I don't love the lining. I kind of move it. But it has both the word, the meanings, and a few different meanings depending on, so you could edit it, the one that you want, a picture, and then a space. So for your students, it would also read this to them as well.
Independence, a city in western Missouri.
So you could use this for a few different things, as far as you could be organizing groups of vocabulary within an article based on category, however you want to do it. There's a few different options there. I want to make sure I also show, okay, this is one of my very favorites that I think could be really helpful for students, that teachers could create for free and share with their students, either in Google Classroom or in Padlet, or so many different ways to do this. So we're going to do an audio maker file. And if you go up here, it's going to take this paragraph. Let's create an audio file up here.
This is a really incredible feature. If you highlight an article, feedback on an assignment or a website, and click the button Audio Maker, you can create an audio file that you can send to students or post on Google Classroom. This is something that having as a teacher for free can be really helpful with students, even if your students do not have a paid subscription.
Awesome. Another thing that could be really helpful for students, again, your free version, students have, or sorry, you have the paid version, students have a free version. If you're editing a student's assignment, you have them post in Google Classroom and they have a doc right here, you can record a note right here. So you can highlight what you want and you do an audio recording, and this is an example.
Take a look at some of those sentence frames that were provided for creating persuasive essays.
Not that that's very necessary information, but you can provide any type of example of, hey, check out this, do this, and there's an nice accessible audio file. And then finally, there is also the speech to text piece. Why am I blanking? Where did it go? Crazy. Oh, here it is, sorry. I was thinking it was over there, okay. Here's an example of how speech to text works, period. You do have to add your capitals and your punctuation, period, but you can also do that at the end when you're all done typing, period. And so it does require students to kind of go back and edit or to do those capitalizations and edit back, but again, this is something that is part of the paid version, unfortunately. But there are other ways to find speech to text. I also want to mention it is worth checking with your district to see if they do have Google Read and Write. I've actually been in a couple districts that have purchased it for their entire district. And it's definitely worth checking to see if your students have access to that, because it's just very cool. And now I'm going to do a website demo. I'm going to use our website here. It takes a minute for this guy to come down. So within the free version, this is something that I think is really helpful for student accessibility. It will read websites. And one of the features that is available on a website, but not in a Google Chrome, is hover speech. So wherever your mouse is, that is what it will read.
Open Access is committed to fostering inclusive and equitable educational systems. designed to build capacity through systemic implementation.
And so you could also decide if you wanted to not do hover speech, you could unclick that and just have it play from wherever you wanted it to start reading.
All students can achieve meaningful access to high quality.
And what I have noticed, and we were kind of playing around with this, is it does kind of transition from various parts in the website pretty well, I would say. So
We believe
a little pause.
all students can achieve meaningful access to high quality curriculum.
So I think it really does a good job of navigating that for students. Any questions about Google Chrome or Google Chrome? Oh my God. Google Read and Write before we move on? I'm happy to answer any questions about this or try anything out that you're interested in seeing. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Let's see. All right, we're going to move on to our conversation and start talking a little bit about artificial intelligence.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about AI. So this is a technology with roots that go back decades, particularly in supporting people with disabilities. So early examples of AI-powered tools include text-to-speech, voice recognition, and word prediction. And so these are types of assistive technology that leverage AI to improve accessibility. So what is AI? We know at its simplest, artificial intelligence is technology that enables computers to perform tasks that traditionally required human input. So AI systems can adapt, generate content, and make predictions. So you can see on the visual, we have a few types of AI that we're hearing a lot about today. So we have generative AI, and this is definitely a buzzword right now. And this is one, that might raise some eyebrows in education. So generative AI creates new content, things like writing stories, drawing pictures, composing music. And then another type of AI is machine learning AI. So this form of AI improves over time by learning from data. So examples of this include weather prediction, or those personalized movie or product recommendations that keep popping up for us, right? Like, oh, I really need this. And then also there is conversational AI. And this type of AI is designed to interact with people. So this could be chatbots like customer service tools, what can I help you with? And then it could also be visual assistants. So things like Siri or Google Assistant that help us out. So we have all kinds of these types of AI, and they've been around for years, and we know that they're just becoming more sophisticated and accessible for our learners.
All right, we're going to move on to Ludia here in just a minute, but I want to answer something in the chat. Sarah mentioned she really loves using the tool on her own computer, but she's noticed that because Google Read and Write is quite memory heavy, that it can kind of be laggy on student Chromebooks, particularly if they have a lot of extensions. And I will say, I think a lot of improvements have been made over the last couple of years. And yes, you're totally right. It is not made by Google. It's actually part of Text Help. You're totally right. But it's meant as a Google extension. Totally correct. But I will say, I think Text Help has made a lot of positive changes like in the last couple of years. So it might be worth trying again. But I just want to make sure to answer that. So we have talked about Ludia in a couple of our inclusive learning circles. And I know Amy mentioned she's been exploring it. So I'm not going to do a full demo, but I do want to make sure I highlight this and just share a little bit about the ways that I have used it. So Ludia is a free AI-powered UDL-trained chatbot. Its goal is really to focus on removing barriers for UDL implementation and providing access for all students in a way that is simple for teachers. I have used Ludia to help me out with so many different things. The list just keeps growing the more that I play with it. We have been collaborating with the founders of Ludia, and one of the things that we really appreciate and admire is that their goal with this is to keep it a completely free resource forever. They're not trying to make any money off it. They're just really trying to spread the UDL love and make implementation easier for teachers. So some ways that I have used it is creating specific lesson plans, and that's by saying, I would like to teach my group of 7th graders, and this is my lesson goal. I'd really like it to focus on this and this, and it really helps me create some fabulous ideas for lesson plans. I've used it to create and then adjust stories or articles at multiple reading levels. So, I'm looking for 6 paragraph long, it's not 6 paragraph long. I am looking for articles that are 6 paragraphs long and that are engaging topics for my 3rd grade students. Can you provide some topic ideas? Can you please take those ideas and generate full-length articles at a 3rd grade reading level? And then it creates that. Can you adjust this for some of my advanced readers at a 4th grade reading level? Can you also adjust this for my 1st grade reading levels? And it will do all of that. It has helped me create sentence frames, sentence starters, word lists for tools for writing support for students. And you can get specific with grade. You can get specific with, I'm looking for persuasive writing sentence starters, persuasive, informational text outlines, whatever it is. And it really, the founders of Ludia really often call it a thought partner, which I think is really sweet because you really can have conversations as far as I'm really looking to build engagement with students. Do you have any ideas for my 5th grade class? We're working on this, this, and this. How can I help build engagement? And it really does come up with some fabulous ideas there. Brainstorming choice options within lesson goals, creating choice boards. It really will create rubrics as well, which is exciting. The more specific you get, the better. And I also want to say we are very, very proud to say that it is now located on our website. So we're excited to be partnering with Ludia. It is located on our website in the UDL resources tab. So I will take you there right now. If you go to our Universal Design for Learning tab and go to the Open Access UDL resources, it's at the top right here. Ludia has just released their live binder where you can explore all kinds of information on how to interact with Ludia. There is a video demonstration from me, and then there's also a checklist where you can go through just, okay, how can I use Ludia? What can it help me with? And then there's a library that Beth and Jeremy, the creators of Ludia, have created, and there are some sentence starters for you to put into Ludia that are very exciting. So if you have time to explore, feel free to do that. And we are very excited to highlight that we are actually doing a webinar with them tomorrow. We're calling it our first international webinar, or at least maybe I am. But Jeremy is in Panama, Beth is in Germany, and then we're here. So I'm very excited about this because it is an international one. Timing is a little interesting. It's going to be from 11 to 12 tomorrow. So we're kind of hoping to catch people on their lunch hour, but we will be recording it as well. So if you are interested in registering, we can throw the registration in the chat. And you guys are welcome to register, and you will get an email of the recording afterwards if you're not able to be there. So the next tool, somebody already said this one too, which is great, is DIFIT. And so I'm going to do a quick little DIFIT, a little demonstration here in a minute, but DIFIT, the name comes from differentiate it, like differentiation. So DIFIT has the goal of really helping to tailor reading passages to provide access for all students by allowing the readings to be adjusted by length, reading level, language, and then from those passages, there are so many tools that you can create to help support your students. Vocabulary lists, comprehension questions, and then activities within a slide deck. The tool also really has this goal of building efficiency and planning for teachers and helping to reduce that barrier of time when it comes to planning. I'm going to do a little demonstration, and I'm going to ask you guys to put in the chat some sort of a topic. It could be anything: Civil War, butterfly life cycle, the creation of the Berlin Wall, space exploration, like you name it. Somebody put in some sort of topic. I'm going to pause for effect. Give people a minute to type. I need a grade level.
Thinking of a topic.
Thinking of a topic. I'm going to go with a 4th grade passage, so I can go up or down with that. Ooh, animal habitats. Love it. Okay. Oh, didn't mean for that to be capital. That's okay. It'll take a minute to load. So one thing I want to highlight is that you can choose if you want it to be a informational text, or if you want to turn the topic into a story. And I think that's a really fun thing to do, especially for history, but you can really do it with anything. So a new feature here that is free is to customize. So right now, because it's a 4th grade reading level, it went with a shorter passage, but maybe I want it to be a longer passage because this is a student who's at a 4th grade reading level, but perhaps I really want to work on building stamina with reading or something like that. So it will adjust. Now, if I want to take that, I can also make it into an 8th grade passage. One of the primary differences between paid and free version, I am actually utilizing the free version right now. It will align to Common Core standards if you have the paid version. I do not. It still generates all of this, but I can't specifically say, please connect this to the 8th grade standard. So this is now at more of an 8th grade reading level. I'm going to increase that. Ooh, let's see if I can customize.
And Emily, we've got a couple other demo.
Ooh, love it. Okay, I'm going to do that. ELA 6th grade identifying. Oh, love that. Great one. Branches of government. Great one. So now this one has extended it 10 paragraphs long. Before I show you all the things you can create with it, I'm actually going to go back and we'll pick a different topic. Oh, sorry, starting. Let's pick a different topic. We're going to do 6th grade identifying main idea details in text, and we're going to do 6th grade. I'll do branches of government next. I'm going to do, and you know what I'm going to do with branches of government? I'm going to make it in a story form instead of instructional text. So this is an article all about main ideas supporting details. I can increase the text length if I want. It's going to also provide a slide deck with, or a picture and some slide options as well. Down below here, it gives a summary of the passage, key vocabulary words, multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and open-ended prompts. What is great about this is you can edit it. If there's something you don't like, or let's say here, you're like, I actually would like to have a total of 10 vocabulary words. Can you please add some? Great. It will add those for you. And then if there's any you don't like, you can change that as well. But again, before I create this, I'm going to go back one more time. Because let's see. Branches of government, we're going to do 4th grade, and we're going to make it a fictional text and see. I've been pretty impressed with their fictional text. I did one on the Civil War, and it was like, oh, that's cool. That is not a fictional text. I wonder if it maybe works more for science or history. So it will adjust here. Okay, I'm going to go back and do a science one so that it, or a history here. We're going to do Civil War. We're going to do 8th grade, and we're going to make it a fictional text. Because I think the thing that's really helpful, I think I am certainly one that is like, if you just give me a list of facts, I don't do well with dates and timelines, right? But for history, you know, the air hung heavy with the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Sarah clutched her younger brother. I mean, what a great way to teach history in a way that's a little bit more connected social emotionally, you know, for our social emotional learners. So let's say we wanted to take this and we wanted to create some student activities. So I'm gonna say, let's focus on, maybe we're building history vocabulary. Let's do that. I will say the first time you do this, you have to get permissions from the organization you have, at least I did, because this is something that students are utilizing and it is through Google. So you might have something where you have to reach out and check permissions. But our tech department is pretty strict about privacy rules for students, and they passed every single test and like, oh, this is a great resource. They follow all the privacy rules, but sometimes you might have to have your tech team look into it. So there's a teacher instruction slide, and then there are examples here, right? So this will take, you can do a whole lesson with this if you want. You can have students work on each of these individually. You can have them work in groups, however you want to do it. But each vocabulary word is on a separate page. And so students can add characteristics, non-examples, examples. If you were to print it, they could have the option of drawing, or they could even do a digital drawing as well. You can see my lovely Google Read and Write is hanging out up here because I can utilize that within slide as well. The article has been broken into slides. And so these pages will give you the option of highlighting and taking notes. Again, my Google Read and Write is right up here as well. So these two pair quite nicely together. Multiple choice questions, include, don't include, whatever works best for you. And then some short answer options. I think if I was going to UDL this, I'd probably have students work in groups on this, and I would provide some options for how they can give their answers. But I think this is such a great way to really kind of give you some structure and resources along with reading. And then you can add some other things in here, turn and talk. So you can use this as a whole class slide deck, or you could send it or share it on Google Slide or Google Classroom with your students or your class as well. Okay. Any questions at all about that before I go on? Right, we are going to move into integrating and implementing assistive technology.
All right, so we have some suggested resources here for you to explore. There's obviously going to be more choices than you will have time to explore in our remaining time today, but we hope that you revisit these resources at a later time. There are a range of resources available, whether you are new to assistive technology, have a little bit of experience, or are very experienced. So hopefully you will find something that's new to you to check out, and that can be applied to your students tomorrow. So we invite you to explore two options here. Our first option is Open Access Assistive Technology Resource Flip Kit, which, Emily, if you want to go ahead and click on that image, it will take you directly to our AT Resource Flip Kit. And once you are there, you can choose a strand from the first drop-down menu. And we do want to note that there is a Google strand. So if you wanted to go back and revisit some of those Google apps and extensions, practice and learn, built-in features, we do have those embedded in our flip kit. And the resources that show up are there for you to explore. This flip kit includes a wealth of instructional strategies and tools which support access for students. So that's option one. And then Emily's just clicking around.
I'm just clicking some examples.
Yes. Showing you all the things, how it populates the different, there you go. Sometimes when you click on things, it doesn't populate because it doesn't line up or match. But in the majority of times, you're going to come up with some resources populating for you. And then in addition to the flip kit, we also linked our home base document here, which we've been putting in the chat, that include all of the resources and tools that we shared today. So you'll find the Chrome extensions on there. We've got Google Read and Write linked there, Ludia, Diffit, and more. So just give you an opportunity to kind of play around, explore, ask questions. and we'll be monitoring the chat. If you want more demo, let us know. I think we're just kind of exploring and checking it all out right now. Danielle says that is amazing. I'm not quite sure what, is it Diffit maybe that she was referring to?
I think it was the flip kit.
Oh, the flip kit. Oh, awesome. Yes. And so just so you know, while you're on our website, we also have one that is designed for UDL. So Emily will take you to the UDL resource flip kit. Again, based off of the 3 principles there, and then the type of tool and so forth. And then we also have one for AAC as well. So be sure, yes, the flip kit. Thank you, Danielle. So be sure to check out all of our 3 flip kits. They are probably the most popular resource we have on our website. So
I'll just keep clicking.
yeah. All right, so why don't we move into our close? We might end a little early today.
All right, so we've come to the end of our journey and it's time for our intentional close. So in the chat, if you could share what's one new approach that you're excited to experiment with to support accessibility. So go ahead and put in the chat what you're excited to try out.
Leveling text for students. Exploring more of the features in Diffit that you shared. And we got a "this is awesome" from Sheila. I think that was about our flip kit too. So thank you for that. Exploring Ludia. Be sure to register for our learning event tomorrow. If you can't make it, because we realize it's in the middle of the day, we will record it and send out to all participants who registered. So I can't wait to share these resources with teachers. Thank you. Awesome. Another one for Ludia. Another one for Diffit, Google extension that checks for accessibility on Google Docs.
Oh, cool.
All right, thank you everyone for sharing.
All right, this takes us to our Q&A. If there's any more questions, I'm seeing more things coming in the chat. We're happy to answer your questions now. More exploration with Google extensions, learning more about the open access AT Flip Kit and pairing tools with students. I love that.
And if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to us and we will get back to you with your questions. And as we end today, we always want to hear feedback for you. So Lori just put the link to our feedback survey in the chat. So please take a minute and fill that out. And then also we encourage you to attend our next Inclusive Learning Circle on April 23rd. And it's all about AAC in high school and transition for students. And then in May, we'll be talking about universal design for learning and learner agency. So please save the date for those.
Yes, we will get our, so the question in the chat was, can we get our certificate at the end of our session for our CEU hours? Yes, what we'll do is we'll put that information in the home-based document and we can work with you. So email Leah and I directly on that if you are interested, but we will also link the information in the home base.
And we'll be able to get you a certificate of completion for the hour that you are here.
I'm going to put that on our home base doc right now, and we will make sure to answer that.
And then the last thing, just make sure that you connect with us on social media. So Emily, if you want to put up the next slide, make sure you're following us either on Facebook, Instagram, or X, or all of them. We post regularly, so follow us and let us know your thoughts on how we can help support you with accessibility for your students. Thank you all for attending.
Bye. Thank you.